What driver is most likely to cause a wreck?
Hocevar. Hocevar crashed me twice last year.
Carson Hocevar has been on my radar for the past month or so. Not only is he, in my opinion, one of the most polarizing drivers in NASCAR history, but he's also one of the most controversial. Starting from his truck career and moving forward, I'll go through each controversial moment from his career. Sorta like the rating system I gave for my Daytona 500 video, I'll give each moment 3 ratings. First, practicality. Did he need to be driving this aggressively in this situation? Second, chaos. How big of a mess did he create? And third, fault. Yeah, he may have been involved in carnage, but at the end of the day, was the carnage really even his fault? Okay, let's roll. I'm going to give both 2021 Las Vegas and 2022 Talladega the same rating. It's obvious what happened here. You made the mistake of wearing white gloves the day you decided to unleash your inner Clint Boyer. It's fine. Lots of teenage NASCAR truck drivers do stupid shit like this. Let's keep going through 2022 and see what we find.
Now Chastain coming to the back bumper of his teammate.
He did help him, didn't he? 3 and 4 is going to be wild.
We've got 2 laps to go in the 2022 Charlotte truck race. Hocevar leads the way, and to his outside is a very hungry Ryan Preece. Preece is in what I'm going to coin as his John Hunter Nemechek era, which is a 5-step process that goes something like this. Be a top driver in the lower divisions, earn a ride in the Cup Series, lose your Cup ride, go back to the lower divisions and reset your career, and then re-enter the Cup Series with more experience. We are here in this stage, so Ryan Preece is not sure if he's going to have a job in the future, and he's going to be very hungry for this win. Now pair a driver like this, who is in a very uncertain stage in his career, against a young, aggressive driver who's not even old enough to drink, and you're just begging for something to go down.
They always got big damage. I told you.
Oh, and around they go. Hocevar is around, and the caution is out.
Spot. Just too much speed to hold it down on the bottom, and Carson gets loose.
This one wasn't even malicious. Hocevar is in the biggest race of his career up to that point. It's rather obvious that this is just a young driver racing hard for the win and screwing up. It happens all the time, this is not a new thing. Ryan Preece, who was understandably pissed off about having his race ruined, had this to say in his post-race interview.
All you kids watching right now, wanting to get to this level, don't do that. Race with respect. Don't wreck the guy on the outside of you trying to win your first race. It doesn't get you anywhere. All I'm going to say is thank you, racechoice.com, for putting me in this truck, because I race for a living, and if I don't run good, I don't make a lot of money. So I'm pissed right now.
This is the rare occasion where I side with the villain. The way Preece talks about it makes it sound like Hocevar intentionally wrecked him, which a single glance at the replay will tell you that is not the case. Hocevar would get the last laugh anyway, as when Preece wrecked during practice for the 2022 Coke 600, Hocevar was right there in the comments giving him advice. I'd give him a 7 out of 10 in practicality, 4 out of 10 in chaos, and 5 out of 10 in fault.
Oh, and now the caution's going to come out as Colby Howard has gotten into the wall hard.
Yeah, that's a big hit.
Yeah, you can see him moving around. That's good news. You coming, Mike?
Got into Hocevar a little bit right there, and then Hocevar maybe gave him a little payback.
That would be a little bit of a retaliation, looks like.
Oh dear Lord. Alright, I sentenced him to a week in the motorhome. Jesus Christ. Fucking kids these days.
3 wide.
3 wide on the exit of turn 2.
Hocevar wrecked himself.
Yes, he did, and he broke the #1 rule of stock car racing. Regardless of that, this is essentially the Colby Howard deal, but somehow dumber. This one makes me laugh, and he only wrecked himself in his carnage, but yeah. When the commentators call a situation like this exactly how it is immediately, that should tell you something. Commentators have a tendency to sugarcoat things, and it annoys me. Just real quick, here's an example of what I'm talking about.
They saw some retaliation there.
Or did Keselowski get into the left rear corner of Elliott there?
No, Mike. He right rear hooked him into the wall. It's obvious. Just call it like it is. Anyway, 0 out of 10 in practicality, 2 out of 10 in chaos, and 10 out of 10 in fault.
Oh,
Zane Smith hasn't led yet, and they're side by side into turn 3. Neither one letting up. Did they touch? They touch. Nick Sanchez gets sideways. He wrecks. The 38 Zane Smith goes around.
Yeah, and Carson Hocevar will be our winner.
Carson Hocevar.
I'm not sure what Nick Sanchez is trying to do here, but he just drives straight into the 38 truck and gets himself loose, putting him right on the front bumper of Hocevar. Could Hocevar have lifted? Maybe, but then he loses the race. At this point in 2023, these three guys are, you could argue, the three hottest up-and-comers in NASCAR. And by the 2026 season, all of them have either begun their Cup careers or are well on their way to doing so. But in this race, they're all just young kids desperate for a win that might further their career. And it all goes south from there. This win, while controversial, would be his first of 4 that season, which was enough to get him into the championship 4 alongside Corey Heim, who has been far and away the best all season, Grant Enfinger, the underdog looking to go out on top in the final race for GMS Racing, and Ben Rhodes, the reigning champion of the series. Heim would be the dominant car of the night, finishing second in Stage 1 to Ty Majeski before pulling away for the Stage 2 win. None of his competitors were even close to him. Hocevar especially had been struggling, so when the other three went down the pit road for their final pit stops, Hocevar stayed out on older tires. Corey Heim would run him down over the course of the run and would bide his time, racing Hocevar clean and passing him after a short battle. Now, Corey should be able to drive away with this championship as long as Hocevar doesn't.
Oh, and he spins him. Carson Hocevar gets into the back of Corey Heim and brings out the caution, the 7th one tonight. Heim is backwards on the racetrack. So is Stuart Friesen.
I really don't understand that.
Well, he dove into turn 3 and popped him and went down into turn 1 and just spun him out.
And he's frustrated.
Well, I mean, I feel the same way he does.
This is hands down the dumbest and dirtiest thing he's done. Is his championship over if he lets Heim drive off? Probably yeah. But there's one thing you don't do. You don't spin your fucking championship rival to get to your end goal. Corey Heim wasn't any better though. His car received relatively no damage, and yet after making up a lot of the ground he lost, willingly threw away his race and destroyed his own truck just to take Hocevar out. After this yellow, we would have 4 overtime attempts that dragged the race on for another hour, and Ben Rhodes, with a damaged front end and the worst stat line of everyone in the Final 4, would come home a champion. If I had to show someone one race, just one, to show them the epitome of NASCAR BS, it would be this race. It exposes overtime in the most frustrating way, but also exposes the playoffs. Aren't we glad they're gone? Anyway, this race would catch a lot of steam on social media, particularly from drivers. Chris Buescher would tweet, "What a pitiful lack of sportsmanship." Tyler Reddick would tweet, "This dumbass will never learn." Damn. Tricon Garage, owner of Corey Heim's truck, would post this meme, and Denny Hamlin, the voice of the people, would hit the nail on the head with this tweet. This is what happens when there's no rules, no officiating. You get a product like this. The show has taken over US motorsports and why it's hard to take seriously. So where does Hocevar fall in all this stupidness? Well, this move was about as impractical as you can get and was 100% his fault, and while the initial wreck would probably be a 2 in chaos in my book, it was the spark to all the destruction that happened afterwards. So I'm just going to throw the book at him. We'll see how he does in trucks next year and see if he grows more mature, but wait, he's in the Cup Series?
I fear no man, but that thing.
While the decision to put Hocevar in the Cup Series wasn't too shocking, I couldn't help but wonder if he was ready. He'd had one truly elite year in trucks that was marred to hell and back by controversy, and he'd skipped the second tier series entirely. Though, if I was Spire Motorsports, I'd definitely sign him over Ty No Signal Dylan. Hocevar would keep a low profile until the 2024 Ally 400 at Nashville. Longtime viewers of this channel will remember this race for its 5 overtimes, but the ending overshadowed the first major Hocevar controversy of his Cup career. Brad Keselowski would crash with 58 laps to go, and under caution, Hocevar would spin out the number 21 of Harrison Burton, prompting a $50,000 fine. He'd turn his car into a ram plow at Martinsville, driving through Burton again before giving the same treatment to Daniel Hemrick. Other than that, he showed signs of what he could do, bringing the number 77 team from 32nd in points to 21st, an 11 position jump in points. I know, Ty Dillon, but still, for a rookie season in Spire equipment, it was a very good year. He was even a popular dark horse pick for the 2025 playoffs. So, let's see how he did. Hocevar would look a lot different in 2025, not just because he ran some of the hottest schemes of the season, but because he legitimately looked like a contender to win at times, most notably the Coke 600. My man had top 5 speed bare minimum that day, but his engine rode too much dente and exploded in front of the field, relegating him to 34th. In the Daytona Summer Race, he had one of the luckiest wreck avoidances of the season, but it didn't matter as he would blow another motor. He would blow a third motor at Homestead early in the year in a race where he had also led laps. But despite that, whenever he didn't have crappy ass parts, he was usually in the top 25 and wound up 19th in points. But it wasn't without ruffling some feathers. In just the second race of the season at Atlanta, or Echo Park, he would spin Ryan Blaney off the apron late in the race, costing him a potential victory. After the race, Ross Chastain and Ryan Blaney would both have words with Hocevar, but the conversation seemed respectful enough. That was until the Mexico City race, where Hocevar, who was a lap down, would wreck Ricky Stenhouse Jr. This was after they had tangled at Nashville earlier, so Stenhouse was understandably pissed off. After the race, he stormed over to Hocevar's window and cussed him out.
I'm gonna beat your ass. You're a lap down, you got nothing to do. Why you run right into me? Second time. No, I don't. I don't give a damn. No, I don't. I don't give a damn. I want to be trapped. I want to get back in the thing. Yeah, I don't.
Kyle Busch would tell you that Hocevar was probably lucky that's all he did. His final little skirmish of 2025 came at Kansas, where after an accident, his car was being hooked up to the tow truck. Hocevar revved his engine and spun his tires at the safety guy, prompting a $50,000 fine. I'm conflicted on this one, because obviously you don't want to be an asshole when there's people running around. But Hocevar's tires were flat and likely knew the car wouldn't roll. I understand the penalty, maybe it's a bit harsh, I don't know. I'm not going to give a rating for this one as I don't see the point, but let me know down in the comments your thoughts on the penalty. His final incident so far came just this year in 2026, where he would shoot a gap that really wasn't there and destroyed Christopher Bell's car. This was late in the race, so the aggression was definitely warranted, but you have to be aware of where to and where not to stick your car. 6 out of 10 practicality, 3 out of 10 in chaos, and 9 out of 10 in fault. So, how do I end off a video like this? Well, as much as I've criticized Hocevar's driving style, his personality reminds me of a young Kyle Busch. And you better believe it once he starts getting the results to back it up. Imagine if he had been in a Hendrick car in that Coke 600, he very may well have won the darn thing. Now I'm not saying Spire doesn't have winning potential, because they absolutely do. They're just a tick off what the top teams can put together. Hocevar definitely has personality. He's active on Twitch and definitely appeals to a younger audience, which is why his fan base is only going to get bigger. And he's eventually going to mellow out. That's another thing you have to remember. just like Ross Chastain, just like Kyle Busch, and I suspect a lot of winning out of him in the future. Thanks for watching.